Welcome, everyone. Don't let the kawaii clouds and pastel graphics fool you. If you're a senior finance or investment executive navigating today's markets, you already know we are living through a massive tectonic shift. We're diving into the explosive boom of the neo-cloud and the sheer staggering capital requirements of modern AI infrastructure. In today's explainer, we're going to break down exactly how elite private credit is stepping in to finance the future of computing. We're actually pulling insights directly from the front lines, specifically recent strategic breakdowns from Magnetar's 20-year Investor Day to figure out how to deploy capital effectively in a sector where, frankly, the old rules just don't apply anymore.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the AI capital mandate. Second, the three pillars of skill, scale, and scarcity. Third, moving beyond passive capital. And finally, downside management.
All right, starting right off with Section 1, the AI capital mandate in the shifting landscape of mega projects.
So, what we're witnessing right now is just a rapid, wild evolution. Legacy finance and massive private credit firms are coming in hard, and the reason is simple. The size of the check required just to get one of these projects off the ground is growing exponentially. We're no longer talking about standard venture capital rounds here. We're talking about nation-state levels of infrastructure investment. To put that into perspective, think about 1 million GPUs. It really wasn't that long ago that financing a 100 GPU cluster was considered a complex, difficult task. But the goalposts haven't just moved, they've literally been strapped to a rocket. Today, companies are deploying 100,000 GPU clusters, and the immediate roadmap points directly to clusters housing 1 million GPUs. The sheer scale of the physical data centers, the cooling, the power grid requirements, it is an entirely new frontier of capital expenditure.
Now, what's really interesting here is how this completely validates the urgency of the capital mandate. You might hear whispers in the market about power constraints or GPU bottlenecks, right? But the underlying truth, which is confirmed by every single channel check, is that demand is eclipsing absolutely everything. Every company across every sector needs more compute. The demand isn't just growing, it is off the charts. And look, where there's insatiable demand, there is an absolute mandate for smart structural financing.
Moving on to Section 2, Skill, Scale, and Scarcity, the three pillars of AI infrastructure.
So breaking down Magnetar's framework, we've got these three pillars. First, you have skill, which is all about execution ability, because it's one thing to buy the hardware, but it's another entirely to actually make it run efficiently. Second is scale, representing the massive cluster growth we were just talking about. And third is scarcity, driven by that off-the-charts demand. If an infrastructure company doesn't have a firm grasp on all three of these pillars, they are simply not a viable investment in this new paradigm. Let's look a bit closer at that first pillar, skill.
Think about it this way. Building and running a traditional data center is kind of like maintaining your reliable family sedan. It gets you from point A to point B, the mechanics are well understood, and it's largely commoditized. But an AI data center, that is a Formula One car. The skill required to engineer, cool, power, and network thousands of advanced GPUs so they act as one cohesive supercomputer is incredibly rare. It's highly specialized, high-performance engineering. Very, very few companies in the world can actually execute this at the required level. And honestly, that F1 engineering problem is only getting harder because of our second pillar, scale. The leap from 100 GPUs to 100,000 and soon to 1 million represents a staggering operational and financial jump. For a senior investor, this scale means traditional financing structures simply break down. You can't just write a check and walk away. The sheer volume of capital required demands a much more integrated, strategic approach to make sure the asset actually performs.
Which brings us to Section 3, Beyond Passive Capital and Unlocking Value.
In the face of this unprecedented scale and highly specialized skill, how does the smart money actually operate? Well, the answer is that it stops being passive. A lot of capital flooding into private credit right now is what you might call one-size-fits-all, mandate-driven insurance money. It's perfectly happy just taking a nap. But value-add private credit is entirely different. This is capital that pulls up a chair with the management team. It's capital that understands the technology, analyzes the data, and actively helps the company lower its cost of capital over time.
So the crucial point is this specific execution playbook. Step 1, you absolutely have to deeply understand the asset first, the literal hardware and its capabilities. Step 2, rigorously analyze the customer contracts tied to that compute. And step 3, use those insights to help management make better allocation decisions, which ultimately lowers the cost of capital. It's an active data-driven partnership, not just a passive loan. But wait, that begs a very practical question, doesn't it? If you're sitting in the C-suite of a neo-cloud company, or if you're the one funding them, how do you actually lower that cost of financing in the real world? How do you make these massive, risky projects more palatable to the broader capital markets?
And that takes us perfectly into Section 4, Managing Downside Through Diversification, the portfolio approach.
This right here is where high-level financial engineering meets the physical world of servers and cables. The core philosophy is to always think about the downside first. Procuring the GPUs is really only half the battle. Structuring the financing so that it survives market volatility, that's the real trick to long-term success. In this space, a diversified portfolio approach specifically focuses on downside protection by intentionally optimizing the underlying customer and asset mix. It means you aren't just looking at the total revenue a data center generates. You are deeply scrutinizing who is paying that revenue and what their credit profile looks like.
And this brilliantly illustrates the strategy. To execute this successfully, you have to balance your customer mix. On one side, you have non-investment grade customers. These are often the fast-growing, highly innovative AI startups. They desperately need compute, and they pay well. But a portfolio made entirely of them is incredibly difficult and expensive to finance. So, what do? You blend them. You balance that high-growth slice with stable investment-grade customers. By actively managing this exact allocation, value-add capital helps the infrastructure provider dramatically lower their overall financing costs.
And look, this isn't just theoretical boardroom strategy. This is happening right now with the companies actually building the future. Firms like Core, who are mastering that F1-level cluster execution. Up-and-comers like Tourist Energy and TensorWave, who are actively navigating these exact capital challenges to secure compute. And companies like Scale, successfully pivoting from crypto mining into the highly lucrative AI compute space. Every single one of them is relying on smart, structurally sound capital to scale.
Which leaves us with one final critical thought to ponder. If you're deploying capital into this space, or if you are an executive securing it, ask yourself, is your capital just sitting there, acting as passive insurance money? Or is it active? Is it rolling up its sleeves, understanding the asset, optimizing the customer mix, and actively lowering the cost to build the AI infrastructure of the future? Because in a world of million GPU clusters, passive capital is simply going to be left behind. Thank you for joining me for this executive briefing on The Explainer. Keep analyzing, keep optimizing, and I'll catch you next time.